This is Histories and Mysteries. I'm Ashley.
I'm Jessica, and on this week's episode, Ashley is going to be talking about the case of Corinna Slusser, and I am going to be talking about Mothman.
Yay! He's real close to me.
I know. You said like what, 5 hours?
Yeah,
Nice. So that's super close to you.
it is.
Remember when you told me you were gonna go that there was a play playing really close by during The Little Prince?
And it was like 10 hours away.
Yeah. You're such a goober.
Well, I knew he was in West Virginia somewhere, so I was like, oh, he's close to me, but 5 hours is kind of close.
Amazing. Also, if anybody watches this on YouTube, we're recording the same day
Yes.
as our last episode.
Yes.
We don't just wear the same clothes 2 weeks in a row.
Every day for 2 weeks, and then we switch it up.
Yeah.
Okay,
right,
so
tell
this
me
is
about
also
this.
from that missing persons documentary. And so it's also a missing person, sorry.
Is it unsolved?
Yeah, because she's still missing.
Okay, you realize that a solved missing person case can be still a missing person case.
No, because then they're
It's
not
just
missing
solved.
anymore.
Yeah, but they were a missing person
Yeah,
at
but they
one
were
point.
either probably like murdered or ran away, and then you'd say the murder of or the runaway of.
Well, some people can be missing and not knowing if they're dead or not. You just did that last week.
Yeah, so they're missing, but they haven't been found
But why are some missing people classified as dead and some aren't?
because some are dead and some aren't.
But they don't know that.
But then they're not missing, Jessica.
No, what I'm saying is they can classify someone who is missing as murdered, but they don't know if they were murdered or not. So they're still missing and they're murdered. You can be both.
If they don't know that they're murdered, then they can't say that they were murdered. They're just missing.
Or dead.
If they know that they're dead, then they're not missing. They know where they are.
But they don't know if they're dead.
Then they're missing.
Sometimes they just assume that someone's missing, but they classify them as dead, but they're still missing.
Oh, well, yeah, but then they'd still be missing. Anyway, Corinna Page Slusser grew up in a small town where there was nothing to do, they said, especially nothing for a girl like her because she really liked the city and she wasn't about that small town life. So they said she did a lot of sports, including cheerleading. She started that when she was like 7 or 8 years old. And something to kind of keep her active, kind of keep her involved in stuff when she didn't have a lot to do outside of that. Apparently one year they went on vacation, her and her family, to Boston, and she just fell in love. Like, she loved the city, she loved the city life. It was always where she wanted to be. And she was, really sweet. Everybody really liked her. Very, like, smiley, happy cheerleader, but like last week, her senior year, Corinna started hanging out with a new crowd. She was drinking, she was smoking pot. She got caught shoplifting from a Dollar General.
Oh, it seems very oddly similar to your last story.
Yeah, kind of spiraling into the wrong crowd. She started fighting with her mom all the time. And her mom was a night nurse, so she worked overnight. And while she was gone, Corinna would have a lot of parties at her house. So she would burn naughty. Christmas of Corinna's senior year came around and Corinna was like, I'm not going back to school. And her mom was like, yeah, you are. And she's like, no, I'm not going back to that school. So her mom actually found her a charter school to go to, that she could do from home online, but she didn't really do that either. And she did confess that she was depressed, and unfortunately she tried to commit suicide that spring.
Oh.
Yeah, she took a bottle of, I think it was Tylenol or something along those lines, and she did some pretty bad liver damage, and they thought that they were going to have to like do a liver transplant, but thankfully, you know, she bounced back. She was young, so it was okay. And they did place her in a psych ward hospital for about 72 hours, or a psych hospital for 72 hours. When she got home, all of a sudden, all of these new clothes were delivered to her house. And her mom was like, "Where are these coming from?" And she just said, "Oh, a friend who came and visited me in the hospital."
Oh,
That day, or not that day, but soon after, she also came home with a huge tattoo down her sternum that her friend also paid for.
how old is she?
She's a senior in high school at this point.
Oh, so
Well,
like
no, she would have
17-ish.
been graduated at this point, so I think she's 18.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Um, apparently, according to her friend, Corinna had gone on to seekingarrangements.com to make money. So kind of like a sugar baby type of situation. Um, in June, Corinna decided to move out with a friend and she got a job at Applebee's. She said her and her mom just weren't getting along and she was 18 at this point. She wanted to get out on her own. But unfortunately, after about a month, her friend and her got in a really huge fight, and Corinna called up some guys who came over to help her move out. And they told her friend just to keep Corinna's clothes because he'd just buy her some new ones.
Oh, that must be nice.
Yeah. But I think we can see where this is going.
No, I know. I don't like the second part of it.
Yes. But the new clothes would be nice.
Yeah, just kind of whenever I wanted.
um, a few days later, her mom saw that she had posted a picture of herself in Brooklyn, New York. Remember, she's from Pennsylvania. And her mom was
Where is
like,
that for the Canadians?
Brooklyn, New York?
No, like Brooklyn and Pennsylvania,
Oh, Pennsylvania is kind of by me.
which
It's
is
not
where.
far on the east side of the country.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not far from New York City.
Oh, so that's why does that seem like such a huge.
Well, because her mom had no idea, and all of a sudden she's posting that she's in Brooklyn.
Oh, okay.
So her mom was like, what are you doing? Come home. And Corinna made it seem like she was just visiting and not actually living there, but in reality, she was living there.
Like
Which
in New
is
York?
fine. Yeah, which is fine, but like, why lie to your mom about it? Um, so the whole month of August, so we're into August now. She was in contact with her mom over the phone. She was texting, talking, all that kind of stuff. Also, her escort business was booming in New York. Um, which is fine. I mean, I have no problem you doing escort business. It's just that she was not in like the safe escort business.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah. Um, she was in escort websites all over. She did thankfully use a different name. She used a name Carissa. But this was weird because in late August, early September, Corinna's mom, her name was Sabina, received an order of protection in the mail. And the victim was her daughter. And the order of protection was against a man named Giovanni Peguero, who had been arrested for a slew of things, including sex trafficking.
Oh, can I just point
Apparently,
out
yeah.
you pronounced his name beautifully?
Oh, thank you. Did you hear the pause before so I could like get ready?
Yes, yes. I saw the pause.
Apparently her and Giovanni were in a hotel. Corinna and Giovanni were in a hotel. And Corinna took a shower, and when she came out, she saw that Giovanni had taken $300 out of her wallet. And they fought about it, and he choked her out.
Oh,
So once she came to, she called the police. Apparently at the hospital, she called him her daddy, like daddy.
ew.
He was arrested, but he did post out on bail.
Of course he did.
Yeah. A bit later, Corinna met Ishi Wooney. He was 21 and an aspiring rapper. And the rap that they showed in this documentary, he was not good. Um, And
I want to see it now.
it's not good. It's real bad. They only showed like a 10-second clip, but it was not good. Not that I'm like a rap aficionado, but it was
You know it all.
not good. He was arrested for trafficking her. He got caught, but they did see there was a picture of Corinna and another woman taken 2 days before Corinna went missing, and they were being advertised as a 2-for-1 special.
Oh, I don't like that.
No. On September 7th, 2017, Corinna updated her Instagram to announce that she had rented her own apartment in the Bronx. And then the next day was the last update of herself that she would ever post. 2 days later, she did make one last post of a person smoking pot, but nobody to this day knows who that person is. Like, none of her friends knew who it was. Nobody can figure out who this is, who this random person is in her photo. And it was different than all of her other Instagram photos because her other Instagram photos were all pictures of her. And this was like the only one that wasn't a picture of her.
That's a little bonkers.
Yeah. On September 20th, 2017.
My birthday. Sorry.
Yes, it is your birthday. Someone saw Corinna leaving a hotel in Queens with Ishi, and the police believe that this was the last time that anyone ever saw her. At the same time, Corinna was calling her high school friend, and she was leaving a voicemail at 5:40 in the morning. And the voicemail said, "Kaylee, as soon as you wake up, you better tell me everything that happened with blank." They beeped out the name. "He cheated on you for 2 months and you didn't know. You need to tell me everything. Text me everything. Okay, bye." And like the voicemail sounded really panicked. It was really weird. Like, I don't know. Maybe drugs were involved or something. I'm not sure. Later that day, Corinna called her mom and said, "I'm coming home tomorrow. I want to come home." And her mom said, "Well, I'm leaving for Florida on Sunday because I have to tell you that Grandpa passed away." So, Corinna did cry when she heard the news, but she said she couldn't go to his funeral because someone had stolen her wallet with all of her money and her license, but she would try and take a train. And that was the last combo her mom ever had with her. All the rest of her calls went straight to voicemail. And none of her friends had ever heard from her past this point. They also found out that after going through her Facebook messages that she had been trying to contact Giovanni, that guy that she had the protection order against.
Yeah.
She was messaging him and said, "Please let me come home. If not, I could be locked up tonight. I think this P just did some foul shit. He left me in a short stay that's up soon with no food or money." And he never responded. She also called him over Facebook, but I didn't say if it had connected or it hadn't connected. But as far as we know, he never responded to anything she sent him. So her mom couldn't get a hold of her while she was in Florida attending her father's funeral, and none of her friends could get a hold of her. So when her mom returns to Pennsylvania, she filed a missing persons report. But this is where she kind of gets the runaround because they said, "Well, you can file it here, so I'll have it on file, but you need to go where she went missing to file it with them." So she had to go to New York. So she goes up to New York. She goes to a few different precincts because, New York has a shit ton of different precincts.
Yeah.
And, she kind of gets the runaround. And finally, she runs into 2 female police officers. And she's like, "My daughter's missing. Her name's Corinna. She used to hang out with Giovanni." And they're like, "Oh, yeah, we know Corinna because we know Giovanni because he's really a bad dude." And she's like, "Oh my gosh." Like, they said, "Go to this precinct and, have them look into it." So she goes to another precinct and they were like, "Yeah, we know Giovanni. We'll go to his house and see if she's seen her." But he like denied it. He's like, "No, I haven't seen her." And they're like, "Okay, cool."
Oh my God. Of course he's going to deny it.
I know. So apparently the police in Pennsylvania, where her mom had first filed the missing persons report, found out that she had that protection order against Giovanni. And they called the Manhattan police, who said, quote, Given Peguero's background, there's a concern that he may be hiding Corinna against her will and prostituting her out for money.
Oh my God.
So are you gonna like do anything about it or so they did follow up with the Manhattan PD this documentary and they declined to comment because Giovanni's records related to Corinna are sealed, but they
Oh,
wouldn't say why.
that's weird.
Weird, right? So now they decided to interview Ishii in New Jersey. But again, they won't release that info either because it's an open investigation. But they did interview him at least. Her mom was getting fed up with all this. So finally, she went to the media, and Corinna's story was posted everywhere. And so tips came pouring in. People were saying they saw her everywhere, as far as Texas. They're like, yeah, we saw her here. But nothing ever panned out. Weirdly enough, 3 months after Corinna went missing, her Facebook was being used, but
Ew.
she wasn't posting. She was just like liking things, and you could see that she had logged on and that kind of stuff. And that was it.
Mm.
Isn't that weird?
It's very creepy.
Yeah. And the NYPD even emailed her in case she was just like hiding out, and they're like, hey, just let us know you're okay. But nothing really came of that. They did bring the FBI in at one point, and they took a bunch of stuff from Corinna's house, including like a DNA swab from her mom, just to help them, with any investigation or any DNA they might need to, unfortunately, if they needed to identify like Corinna or something like that.
Yeah.
The FBI also found that her phone had last pinged in Jamaica, New York, which is it's like right outside of Manhattan. And it was close to a tip that had come in that said someone had seen her there. Her mom also received an anonymous letter from a man named Carlos C. Um, from New York that said he believed he saw Corinna sprint past him at night. And she was chasing his friend, saying she was going to sue him. That spring, someone also contacted her mom and said that they were holding Corinna captive and they weren't feeding her and they were shooting up with her with drugs, and they would only give her back to her mom if her mom paid $75,000.
Holy crap.
Yeah. So, wow. Um I have $7,500 written here.
I thought you froze again.
And I don't remember if it was 75,000 or 7,500. I think it was 7,500 because her mom did go to Walmart to wire the money, but they said they didn't get it. And they said, well, bring cash here. And the spot that they wanted her to bring it was 10 hours away. And her mom, Sabina, said, like, something just told her not to go. So she didn't go. And then she received one last text that said, remember this day, you could have had your child back.
Oh my gosh.
So either that's someone just trying to make money off of her, or they really did have her. And if they're into sex trafficking, all they want is money. I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
Meanwhile, Ishii is arrested in a hotel in New Jersey for drugs and assaulting a woman. The woman he assaulted was the other woman in that picture, that 2-for-1 special picture.
Oh no.
And they found out that after they arrested him, they found his phone records, and they found out that from September 10th to 20th, he exchanged 600 text messages with Corinna, and they found evidence of him sex trafficking her. So he did get arrested for that.
Wow.
On November 28th, he goes to court, and Sabina went to court, and she's like, I want to talk to him. And she asked him 3 questions. Please disclose where my daughter is. Is she dead or alive? Tell me what you know. So he said, I don't know where your daughter is, and I don't know if she's dead or alive, but I'm praying she's alive.
Oh my gosh.
Her mom later on her mom's badass. Her mom later on confronted Giovanni in a hallway in a courthouse, And he also said he didn't know if Corinna was dead or alive, but he thinks she's alive and she'll come back to her. He said that Corinna lied about their whole hotel flight where he stole from her and choked her out. He said that never happened, of course,
Of course, it
of
never
course.
happened.
Yeah. But after this, the investigation kind of went cold. And to this day, Corinna has never been found.
Wow.
Yeah. And they did say if you have any information to call the FBI at 800 call FBI, or the NYPD at 800-577-TIPS, or Halo's investigation at 803-599-HALO, and all calls can remain anonymous. So that is the
Wow.
story of Corinna. So I'm thinking one of those guys probably like killed her or like sold her off to like another sex trafficking ring or something, unfortunately.
Mm.
So that's my horrible story.
Thanks so much. I hated it.
You're welcome. All right, so tell me all about my neighbor, the Mothman.
Okay, well, he's a lot more pleasant than your story.
Okay, good.
That's what I would just love to say. And he's a shorty, but he's a goodie. So
Yeah, I'm
we're gonna
excited.
talk all about the Mothman. Okay.
Yay.
We're gonna fly on into it.
Do you get
Do you get it?
it?
You're gonna be so tired by the end because of all the flying.
Ooh.
Sorry. So a crew. Oh God, no. I need to start with my references. Oh, just
Oh.
while it's interesting. Okay. A crew of gravediggers in Clendenin, West Virginia. Is that how you say it?
I have no idea.
Clendenin? Clendenin?
It's probably Clendenin. I don't
Okay.
know.
I don't know either. Please let me know. And they noticed something peculiar on November 12th, 1966, while digging in a cemetery.
Mm.
Something enormous flew above their heads, and they looked up from their work. It was a large figure that was scurrying quickly through the trees.
Ooh.
And this would have been a nighttime job. Like, they're gravediggers. Oh, I
Yeah.
mean, oh, I hate it.
Yeah, the fact that you said scurrying was a little.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That word.
Yeah.
This figure was afterwards referred to as a brown human being by the gravediggers
Oh.
because that's so creative. This was the first confirmed sighting of the mysterious monster that would later become known as the Mothman.
Ooh.
An elusive entity that is still as enigmatic as the night when a few terrified witnesses first saw it. 3 days later, in a nearby Point Pleasant, West Virginia, where is that to?
I don't
Point Pleasant?
I don't know, lady. I just moved here a year ago. I know where my city is, and that's about it.
Oh, you've been there a year, eh?
Almost, yeah.
How do you guys like it?
That is 5.5 hours from me.
Oh,
I don't hate it. It's really, really pretty. There's like little mountains and stuff around us. It's pretty.
are you excited for fall?
Yes, I'm very excited for fall. I wish we were closer to
Yeah.
DC, but other than that,
Yeah. But you're not super far from DC.
no, no, but I wish we were closer.
Yeah. All right. You'll have to show me when I come visit you.
Yeah.
Yes. This is the first. 3 days later, in Point Pleasant, West Virginia, two couples were seated in a car when they observed a white-winged monster, maybe 6 or 7 feet tall, standing in front of their car.
Yeah.
This part I hate. The beast had blazing red eyes, spaced approximately 6 inches apart, a wingspan of 10 feet, and an evident desire to avoid the bright headlights of the car, according to an eyewitness, Roger Scarberry and Steve Mallette, who spoke to the local newspaper.
It's a lot of detail for just seeing him in front of your car.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. Like, I had something happen to me at work a couple weeks ago, and I could not remember what the guy's face looked like.
Well, and to even be like 6 inches apart, 10 feet foot wing, like that's very like,
Yeah.
yeah.
And when you're like, and I honestly find myself to be a very like, I don't know the word, but I feel like I'm really good in stressful situations.
Mm-hmm.
So when something scary happens to me and I'm like, whoa, what is
Mm-hmm.
going on? I think of the what words am I going to say to not make this escalate,
Right, right,
as opposed to analyzing somebody's face.
right. Yeah, that makes sense.
Like, I had to describe the dude as a dweeb, and that's how the security guard found him.
Yeah, that's
Because she's
hilarious.
like, "What color shirt is he wearing?" I'm like, "This color." And I was talking to her later. She's like, "Yeah, he was not wearing that color shirt." But I found him after you said he looked like a dweeb. So I don't, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I like you said, I don't think they that you would have been able to take in that much detail.
yeah,
If you're scared out of your mind, you're probably gonna run away. You're not gonna sit and stare at it.
yeah, for
So
sure.
yeah, so dumb. The witnesses testified that this creature was capable of flying at extraordinary speeds, possibly exceeding 100 miles per hour. They all concurred that the beast was a clumsy ground runner. Fucking rude.
Right.
They only knew this because it supposedly tracked their car until it reached the outside of town in the air before scuttling into a nearby field and vanishing.
Scuttling.
It's it's a gross word.
Scurrying and scuttling. I don't like the picture I'm getting.
I don't Oh my god. Scarberry argued that the apparition couldn't have been a fabrication of his imagination, despite the fact that he was aware of how silly they must have sounded to a local newspaper in a small Appalachian community in the 1960s. He assured the paper, "If I had seen it while by myself, I wouldn't have said anything, but there were four of us who saw it."
What was that accent trying to be?
What did it sound like?
I don't even know.
I was trying to talk like the South, and then I forgot what I was doing, and then I think I tried to recover.
Well, just so you know, West Virginia's not South. It's North. Very northern.
I'm sorry. Oh my god. I'm just gonna try out all of the different accents on this show. Oh my god. Okay. Well, sorry. I'm not gonna redo that sentence though, because my brain went to a weird realm of it. Oh my god. Okay, sorry. I'm gonna cry here. Reporters were initially unconvinced. The Mothman was described in the media as a bird and a strange being. Mallette's description, "It was like a man with wings," was printed. Though, oh, that word doesn't belong there. In just 3 days following the initial accusations, the Gettysburg Times recorded 8 further sightings. 2 volunteer firefighters were among those who reported seeing a really enormous bird with large red eyes. Salem, West Virginian Newell Partridge stated that one night weird patterns appeared on his television screen and were followed by an unexplained sound coming from outside of his home. Partridge allegedly saw 2 red eyes resembling bicycle reflectors when he shone a flashlight in the direction of the disturbance. Horrifying.
That is terrifying. And I don't like that it started on the TV.
I know. I think that's always super creepy, especially when the TV just goes all staticky.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh, so gross. I hate it.
yeah.
Since it supposedly caused Partridge's dog to vanish, this incident is still well known in the Mothman lore.
Wait, what?
Some,
His dog vanished?
yeah,
Oh my God.
some people still think the terrifying beast took his beloved pet to this day.
Oh, puppy.
Associate Professor of Wildlife Biology at West Virginia University, Dr. Robert L. Smith, brushed aside the idea that a flying monster was watching the community. Instead, he claimed the sandhill crane, which is nearly as tall as the average man and has vivid red skin around its eyes, was to blame for the sightings.
Wow.
And honestly, if you look up the bird, it makes sense.
What's it called again?
The sandhill crane.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. This argument made sense, especially in light of how frequently the creature was described in early reports as bird-like. Some speculated that this crane was deformed, especially if it lived in the TNT area, which was a name given by locals to a series of nearby bunkers that were once used for manufacturing munitions during World War II, and that these bunkers may have leaked toxic materials into the nearby wildlife preserve, potentially affecting nearby animals.
Oh, poor babies.
Yeah. Another theory holds that the Mothman was created by a dedicated prankster who went so far as to hide in the abandoned World War II munitions plant where some of the sightings occurred.
Have to have
According
a
to
lot
this,
of time on his hands.
yeah. According to this theory, when the Mothman story broke in the national press, residents of Point Pleasant began to panic. Locals were convinced they saw the Mothman in birds and other large animals long after the prankster had abandoned the joke. It's worth noting that the Mothman legend is similar to several demon archetypes found among those who have experienced sleep paralysis, which could imply that the visions are simply the embodiment of common human fears plucked from animal sightings when people panic.
Oh, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm. Then there are the paranormal explanations, a, tr- a tangle of complicated theories involving aliens, UFOs, and precognition. These theories portray the Mothman as either a forerunner of doom or more sinisterly its cause, which is a legend based on the tragedy that occurred shortly after the Mothman arrived.
Oh, what is that?
I will tell you.
Okay.
Traffic was super heavy on the Silver Bridge on December 15th, 1967, just over a year after the initial Mothman encounter. The bridge was crammed with cars when it was first constructed in 1928. The bridge, which was constructed when cars were lighter, was strained as a result.
Oh.
When compared to the average car weight in 1967 of 4,000 pounds, the Model T weighed only 1,500.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. The bridge's architects and engineers had not been particularly creative or cautious when designing this structure. There was almost nothing in place to prevent other portions from falling if one of the bridge broke, like if a piece of the bridge broke, because there was very little safety in this design.
Sounds like a great way to design a bridge.
Yeah. And that's exactly what happened in December. On the Ohio side of the bridge, a single eye bar close to the top suddenly cracked. The bridge collapsed as a result of the chain snapping, throwing vehicles and pedestrians into the chilly Ohio River below and upsetting its perfect equilibrium.
Hmm.
And this is horrible. 46 people lost their lives as a result of drowning or being smothered by the wreckage.
Oh my God, that is awful.
Yeah. The bridge collapse was the second horrible and strange event to make national headlines about Point Pleasant in a year, following the Mothman sightings. Therefore, it didn't take long for some people to make the connection.
Mm.
In his 1975 book, The Mothman Prophecies, author John Keel combined the Mothman sightings and the bridge collapse. He included UFO activities as well.
He
So
just threw it
naturally,
all in there.
yeah. So obviously it caught on.
Yeah.
And the village quickly gained notoriety among paranormal enthusiasts, ufologists, and conspiracy theorists. In recent years, Point Pleasant has maintained its notoriety as the location of the Mothman tale. A film based on Keel's book reignited interest in Mothman in 2002.
That was a good movie. I like that movie.
I don't think I've ever seen it.
It's pretty good. You should
Yeah.
watch it. Yeah.
Okay. Richard Gere plays a reporter whose wife appears to have been um like she was the first one to see Mothman.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just before she passed away. So
Yep. I saw it years ago, so that's really all I remember of the movie.
interesting.
Yeah.
Richard Gere is a good actor.
Yeah, I like him.
Um, there are rumors of visits from a mysterious creature known as the Mothman, as some residents receive visions of impeding disasters. Impending disasters?
Yeah, pending.
Shit.
I didn't
That's
even
the
catch
wrong
till you
word.
said it.
Impeding. Which is super rude. Like, it's rude. What did Mothman ever do to you except fly?
Except scurry
Yeah,
and
through the
scuttle.
trees. The supernatural horror and mystery movie offers no resolutions and instead conveys an unsettling sense of disarray that has received both negative and positive reviews from critics. Some followers of the Mothman theory attempted to connect the Fukushima nuclear incident in Japan in 2011, the Mexican swine flu pandemic in 2009, and the 1986 Chernobyl disaster.
That is a lot to put on one Mothman's shoulders.
Right? Super rude.
Yeah.
Since the late 1960s, sightings of the real Mothman have largely decreased, but occasionally a sighting is reported. So in 2016, a man who had recently relocated to Point Pleasant saw a strange creature leaping between the trees. He told local media that he was unaware of the Mothman mythology until he supposedly saw the monster for himself.
I'm
So,
sure.
yeah. So whether or not it's true today or not, there is a monument of Mothman in Point Pleasant,
Ooh.
and they have a live feed, like a live stupid angle because it's on his like side. It's not facing him, it's just beside him.
That's weird.
Yeah. It's adorable, but anyways, there's also a museum.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, where it has like a bunch of stuff from the movie and everything. And
Oh, cute.
yeah, it's really adorable.
I love it.
But anyways, that was my chaotic, wildly tired ride
I
on Mothman.
love it.
Thank you for joining.
Do you have
Please
any
stay in a little
jokes?
while. I do.
Okay, let me hear them.
I do. Okay. What do farmers wear under their shirt when they're cold?
What?
A harvest. What can a whole apple do that a half an apple can't do?
I don't know what.
It can look round.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Love it.
Anyways, those are my
Well,
jokes.
I love them. Well, if you want more of us lovely ladies, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube.
And if you would like to rate and review us, you can do so on Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
Yay. And we look forward to bringing you 2 new stories next week.
Bye.
Bye.